Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Robin Carter with Robin's Creations. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas, and I have a few more alternatives using the October 2025 paper pumpkin kit named Cozy Christmas. I have a few more alternatives to show you today. Before we begin, let me thank each and every one of my YouTube subscribers. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate you. And if you're new or have yet to subscribe, I'm really close to reaching 5,300 subscribers. So if you can help be a part of that, I would greatly appreciate it. As you watch the video, if you see something you like, give me a thumbs up. It lets me know you guys are enjoying these videos and encourages me to keep doing them. So I like to teach as well as show alternatives. So you might want to watch through the whole thing. When things come up that I find a learning opportunity, I share that as well. And then I have some new favorite things that I'm going to show you as well. So let's switch to hands down so we can get started. Find the right scene here. Okay, I do like to remind you that going on now is the subscription period for the November Wrapped in Cheer, and it goes until November 10th. It is going to be a project-based kit, but some nice little tags, and they give us a little glimmer of the stamp set, which is my favorite part of the paper pumpkin kits. Is you get an exclusive stamp set that can only be available in these kits, and it looks like there's going to be a little wreath. So I do like that as well. Okay, the add-on dies are also still available. Item number 167855. Now these have been going like not discontinued. They've been selling out, so they are only while supplies last. So be sure to get yours. I have used multiples of these in my alternatives, and if you missed any of those, there'll be a link at the end of this video, either here or over here. Where you can see my first alternative and then follow through. Okay, also just a quick reminder, I have a new loyalty rewards program that any orders of $50 or more, you qualify for a check mark. And now through November, I'm offering double points with that. So again, your total does have to be $50 minimum before shipping and handling and net of rewards. So if your item, if you had 55 and then you use $10 of rewards, that would drop it to 45. Demonstrators don't get credit for your rewards. I do want you to use them. You have earned them, but just might want to just use enough to keep it above the $50 mark to earn points. Now this is one of my favorite things that I store my kit in. My instruction sheet has disappeared. I didn't find the need to find that before the video. But let's get started. Real quick, I want to show one that I shared on my Paper Pumpkin blog hop through my blog site yesterday. So, you know, I made an alternative using the little, the top two of the trees. And so I still had the bottom part of the trees to go. So let me show you what I did with those. That's the white backgrounds. I'm working on those as well. So I used part of this for this alternative. Now I did cut it in half, okay, which is about just a hair, one tick mark on your ruler, less than 2.5. So that way you can get 2 equal spacings. You could do it at 2.5 and the other one would be a little smaller. It doesn't really matter on that. Okay. Then I have a pecan pie background. Now I did save the inside of this. I cut it out with just a die I had. You don't have to do that. It's just a paper saving technique. And then as always, a thick white card base. Okay, and then I have one of the tree, the I think that's called flocking, the felt favored trees that I haven't used. And then I had to bring in a retired embossing folder because I wanted the snowflake sky kind of in the background. I did look to see if there was anything current, and I didn't see anything that would do a snowy background. Now last celebration we had this Starstruck embossing folder, which I think would also work as a nifty background behind the trees, but I'm going to use this one. And this measures, I believe, 3 and 7/8 by 5 5 1/8. Okay, I did do that a little smaller than my pecan pie just so I had more pecan pie showing. Okay, so these trees, I just took my paper snips. These are not my snips, but just I have several scissors around. Okay, and you just want to cut these individually like this. So just cut little rectangles down, and then you could trim it later closer if you want to, but you just want to get down into the tree part. Okay, and if you want to trim, I'm going to leave that because I'm going to put the star. This one I didn't quite get as close to that. And same thing with this one. Okay, so now we have 5 little trees to put on our background. So let's get started putting things together. Let me make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, I didn't do ribbon, so I can go ahead and adhere this down. Okay, that's my Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm going to glue it to the pecan pie piece. By the way, if you go to my blog, then you can follow along the blog hop to see other people's creations as well. And then let's put this down. Got several bottles of multi-purpose glue that are getting low. I did refill my fine tip one, but I'm getting a nice thin stream with it when they get low. Okay, so there's that, and then we can attach this piece. Now, if you don't want any white piece to show, you can cut this closer. I was okay with a little white showing around the brown. Okay, so you'll use 1.5 of these to make 3 of these. And you can just get creative, or sometimes when I just have extra stuff, I stick it in like with the pecan pie cardstock. I keep them in little file folders, and that way I just have extra stuff to use later. Okay, so there is that. And then we're going to put the little trees, and I'm going to do it right here where the solid part meets the border. And I'm going to do those with dimensionals just to give it a little more interest. And these are the large ones that I've cut in half of the dimensionals. I do that, I find that a half is enough, and I'm still able to put a lot of layering on there, and it holds it quite well. My nails work best for taking these backings off. I know the Take Your Pick tool would do the same. And then I try to get that centered, and then give it a little press. Now I also took my cut file and I cut a whole bunch of little stars, and I colored them with a blends. Now notice on the star, it's sometimes hard to see, there is one that is a little longer than the other ones, and so that can be the top. So again, I'm going to put those on there. Now this I am going to use my fine tip glue bottle because I just want a little dot. Actually, even a glue dot would work as well. Now you can choose if you want to do all 5. I'm going to do 1 on this one to save us on time because I have some more alternatives to show you. I did also get more Merry Christmases in my cut files. That way I can put that there, and I'm going to put that with dimensionals as well. And I'll show you my finished ones that have a little bling on them. And this will be a real quick alternative to use more of those supplies. I have these backings all over Okay, so here we go. Just try to center that. Give it a little press. I think it's cute with 1 star, but here's my finished ones I did with all the stars on them. And I've had some little green gems in my stash that I added there. I think silver would be pretty too, just kind of whatever you have, or if you have any of those red sequins left as well. But there wasn't red in this card, so I decided to go with green. Okay, so I've got more stars. This is also part of my favorite things, and there's links to all these in the video description of this video. And I also have an Amazon storefront that has them all listed as well. Cut that off just so I don't have that hanging around. Okay, let's clear our space, and I'll show you the next alternative. So see, you have 1.5 left of this. So I don't know what I'll do with that yet. So I did come up with an alternative. Now, sadly, this is going to use some retired dies, but I know a few of my paper pumpkin customers got this while it was on sale, so I thought I would do an alternative using it. So you need a thick white card base, which I'm getting low here in my larger envelope. That's where I store my paper pumpkin kits. I also store pre-cut score bases, or card bases. I said score because I'm thinking of doing this. So if you're brand new to card making, to get a card base, you can actually get 2 from 1 piece of thick white cardstock. So what I do is I score first, okay, going long ways. So your paper will be like this, and then 1 cut in the middle at 5.5. So you get 2 card bases with 1 cut and 1 score. So I'm going to use this card front that was a part of our kit. Okay, and I thought it needed a little bit of backing. So I'm going to get garden green to do that with. Okay, so I have a piece of garden green here that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Now, if you want to save cardstock, you can always cut out the middle. I'm not going to do that on this one because I do want to put this up on dimensionals, and I don't want any white to show. So also feel on your card bases, like this side's pulling up. If I turn it over, it doesn't really pull up. So I want this to be the front of my card. Okay, and then we're going to have this. And then I brought in, I put them over here. I think I covered it up with my kit. It's the Frosted Forest dies. Okay, and as you can see, I have them taped together here. And that way it'll cut out some detail all in one pass, and I have it kind of centered. So I've cut those out in white cardstock, and I thought it was quite stunning of a cut, and I thought, you know what, those would look really good here on my piece. Now the little one, sometimes a whole bunch of little bits come out. Okay, so if that happens, put another solid white back there. That way it's solid white. Now in this large one, for some reason this one hole always comes out. I'm not going to try to glue in that one hole, so we're just going to put those there. So this is 1 of the large ones, 2 of the small ones. And if you don't have these dies or just have stamps, maybe you have some trees and you could stamp them in Versamark and then put some white embossing powder on it and get your white trees that way. So again, I have my cut file of my Merry Christmas, and I'll just show you kind of how I set up all my cuts. I do have a video showing more detailed how I do this, and I think I have one in there that I forgot last night, so you know what, we can use it. But I just stick those in there. This is the negative of a cutout, and then I line that up and put it there. And these are 3-ring binder things that are also part of my favorite things. And I can see better when I stamp on this where to line up my negative piece. So we'll just go with the one already stamped. It's going to be a pretty quick video. I thought I only have dimensionals on the back of that. I thought I put them on all. That was just some scrap paper from last month. So I just used it since it was the back part of the tree. Now let me show you on the large tree, or you can always put a solid back behind it as well. Luckily, most of my little cutouts, they fit back in nicely because it's one big thing. But you may want to put some glue dots. I don't know if that shows right there on the little details. That way they don't pull up. And then I put dimensionals all over it as well, since this one's going to go on dimensionals. And I know why there's no dimensionals on these trees, because I was going to do them flat. But these, I guess I'm going to do them all on dimensional. So let's start taking these off. The ones I have finished already don't have dimensionals on them. You know, I'm going to put my big tree on first, because I need to make sure he stays kind of on the card base. So you can see when I take off the dimensionals, it's trying to pull some of the inside piece, because it does cut. It doesn't just cut the inside, it does cut it all the way around the detail part. There are some current trees as well. I don't know about the die cuts, and I really didn't mean to take that off, because that's just holding the pieces together. So let's put this in the center. I sometimes use my grid paper to kind of see if I get the center of it. And that looks, whoops, those are stuck to me. Okay, do that again. Okay, that point is close enough there. And then we're going to put this tree, I'm going to tuck him behind. And the same thing with this one. That's why they didn't have dimensionals, because they weren't supposed to, but that's okay. Every card is good. There's no mistakes. There's just another alternative, right? That's at least my saying. Now, unfortunately, I do have a dimensional right there. I may have to take this one off. I'm being very careful, trying not to tear my tree. Okay, so there's our 3 trees. I'd like that one in further. Three trees. And then we can do our Merry Christmas. So that's easy peasy on that. Again, it's just the white trees that make the die. Now I'm trying to fuss with my little tree there because I curled him up. And then we have the Merry Christmas saying. Somewhere I put that. Did I leave it on my stamp apparatus? Well, we'll just stamp another one. Okay, so I can show you. And these are, by the way, I didn't mention these cut files I have on my Etsy shop. So I have this kit as well as many others, and stamps that just have sentiments with them. I'm working on the right words. I probably won't have it up till next week. And I was hoping my order from the free shipping days was going to be in, but of course it's going to be tomorrow. Oh, don't forget, today is the last day of the join special. So for just $35, you can join, and I'd love for you to be a part of my team. Join Stampin' Up, whether it's to be a hobby demonstrator, which is how I started many years ago, or if you want to do this as a business. So there's our Merry Christmas. Now, since everything else is on dimensionals, I'm going to actually glue this flat down. And there's my Merry Christmas. Y'all are probably yelling at me, saying it's right there. I am feeling a lot better. So thank you for all your get well wishes that I've received in comments. Thank you so much. It's been a struggling month for that. So there's our Merry Christmas. Now this one, I don't know, I just didn't have enough room for ribbon. My ones I did put some ribbon above there as well. So let's glue everything down. By the way, I can tell which way I've cut my paper, and so I try to feel for the cut marks, and one side will look better than the other one. Okay, the garden green layer. And then this piece, you can decide, now since everything else is on dimensionals, I think I am going to do that flat. I said I was going to do it on dimensionals, but I changed my mind since all the trees ended up on dimensionals. Okay, so this uses all three of those kind of basic beige scalloped or ticket corner dies or card front, and I had these in my green stash and I thought they would look a little nifty here on this card. So let's just give it a little more interest. It's really mint macaron, but it just has a slight green tint, which is fine for this card. And you know what? Those are totally different. I like the ones that have the shimmer to them. If you pick them back up quickly, you can get them up without tearing anything. Okay, and the triangle pattern is most pleasing to the eye, so that's how I do those. And then I'll show you my finished ones. Oh, I know, I put the ribbon just below the sentiment. So, which one of those do you like best? Do you like it with the ribbon? Without the ribbon? I actually like the ribbon. I should have looked at my final one before. I'm trying to hurry because I'm going out of town and just pretty much as soon as I finish this video. I will read descriptions on the way. Now I have another one that I did. I thought, you know what, that's a pretty good design. And I thought I would do it with this light one using dark trees. Now this one I decided to use Mossy Meadow. Just for the trees, because I think they look much more realistic that way. Now, if you have a ticket corner, you could do that as well. So, you know what? I'm just going to show you this. So this I did have in my file folder one already saved. So I thought, well, I'll use that one and then just put that down flat. So I have the same trees from the Frosted Forest die. Now see, in this one, the little piece didn't come out. I do have dimensionals and glue dots to help hold in the branches. And these I'm not going to put on dimensionals. And I'm going to use my little fuzzy white ribbon here and show you how I do that. So you could do it across the green as well. I'm just going to do it on the card front piece from our kit. Get some sharp scissors. By the way, your paper dulls your scissors, so you may want to have a set of scissors that are meant just for ribbon. Now, this was retired. I do love to collect ribbon and embellishments all off the clearance rack, but there is some current white ribbon as well. So I just cut enough to fold over on both sides, flip it to the back, and hold it down with tear and tape. Let me go ahead and get two pieces off. Okay, so just kind of down here at the bottom. If it goes over, I'll fold it up or cut it off, one or the other. I was quite generous in getting that, wasn't I? Okay, and then just kind of look to see if it looks equal. You could use your grid sheet again. I think that looks pretty good. You get my scissors and just trim that off where it hangs over. Okay, now we can put our trees on there. Again, I'm going to look for kind of the center right there. So let me take off just the dimensional backings. I'm not going to do the glue dot backings. That way it helps hold down the branches. Some things just come later as far as ideas, but I loved I love these trees in this bundle. I'm so sad everything's retiring and it's hard to remember what is current and what is not. Okay, that's hard to see there, white on right. But I'm going to put that big tree there. I do have glue dots on the back of this one. That's why I should have done glue dots ahead of time on the other one, and I would have said, yes, I don't really want it on dimensionals. And then, of course, you might have to pick that up. I shouldn't have pressed so hard. And I'm going to have to do the same thing on this side. I probably should have laid the tree on there first before taking out the backings and just put these little trees on the card front on the edge. Let's see. I'm messing up that tree. Okay, here's another thing you can do is you can cut your dimensional, right? And then that way you can get to it a little easier. And then let's tuck this tree in. And I'm going to slide another dimensional up under there to help hold down that tree bottom. And I lost a limb, didn't I? So I may go in and fill that one out, or I cut part of it, one or the other. But I may go in and get just a bottom branch there to help cover that one. Or I could put an embellishment there or something to hide it. Okay, and then we are going to glue this to the Mossy Meadow piece. I know it was stuck to my dimensional. I see it over there. It was green. See, I lost some of the branch. That's when I tried to pull it. Had I cut it, it probably would have been okay. So center that. Okay, and then we can put our Merry Christmas. Now I pre-stamped this in Mossy Meadow as well. And then when I finish this, I'm going to show you some new favorite things I have. If you're wanting to convert some of your old stuff to new thin line stamp storage. And that'll be today's video. So Mossy Meadow. Now notice I did put the dimensionals just here on the Mary. You could put one, which I may do, just a part of one. Put it on the little flourished A. And Y. I find it doesn't stick well to ribbon. It kind of lifts the ribbon up like if you try to play with it. So I try to get it as much. It can go on ribbon as well. Just get some of it on the cardstock so that it sticks well to that and stays flat. I'm trying to get that backing off. There we go. Now it stayed down. Some of my glue was on the back of that. So this, I'll have to get a new grid sheet for the next videos. Okay, and then we can glue that to our thick white card base. We had that cool front come through here in North Texas. That's why I'm in long sleeves. It's nice to get a little crisp bit of winter, especially for Halloween. Today is October 31st, so happy Halloween, everyone. So what do you think of these alternatives using the card fronts? I'll show this one that I did ahead of time. So I thought that was a pretty good use of them. I haven't, and also I did the brown one. That was my first alternative. Now let me show you some favorite things, new storage. So I'm not going to convert my cling, but I'm thinking of doing my photopolymer. And I found these, and what they're perfect for is, say I wanted to do my fancy borders, which were photopolymer. So they fit nicely in here. I know I have two more over there. And then there is this magnet sheet for the dies, and they both fit in there quite nicely. I've noticed this magnet is not as strong as my favorite thing magnets. I could just take it off and put it there, but these fit pretty well here. And you don't have to guess which side of the magnet is the strongest because the other side is white. So they hold pretty good. You get those more in because I have 2 more to go. Oh. Now I think the link for these is in my Amazon storefront. So they fit nicely like that, and the little description sheet fits in there as well. You just have to kind of bend it that way so you can stick it in. I'm going to do it on the back here where this slot is not. Okay, that fits nicely in there. You would either just need to cut off this little piece, okay, or fold it over. So I thought that was nice and nifty way to store those all together. And so, you know what, I'll put a link to these in the top of my video description as well, just after the description of what this video is, in case this interests you. So anyway, those, they come together. You get a sheet of these and a sheet of these. There's also where you can purchase just these. So for ones that don't have magnets, you can purchase just these, the little sleeve, and they're the exact same size. So your storage would be all universal, and that would be a nice, clean way, easy way to store your stamps. So let me switch back to me. This was a pretty quick video. It looks hazy on my computer. It looks fine here on my phone. So hopefully it's not hazy, the background of me. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Again, I hope you enjoyed these alternatives. I realize they did use retired products, and I'm sorry. I do try to give alternates of current stuff or past paper pumpkin stuff. You know, we did have the trees back last year from the I can't remember the name of it, but I think it was in May, and they're not tall, but you could still stamp those trees there and maybe some in the background to look like they're further back, and emboss those in white as well. So just some ideas I had. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you missed any of my other videos, I think I have 3 or 4 others already. There will be a link here to the first one, and you can follow along those as well. Always the best way to give me a compliment is to give me a thumbs up to this video, share it with your other paper crafting friends, and of course leave me a comment. I love to hear where you guys are watching from and your feedback about the cards. So until my next video, I hope you guys all have a great weekend, Halloween weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you the next time on my videos. See you later. Thanks for joining.